So we are doing a redemption session for ParkaPal, as you can see here, and he's right in front of us and joined us here on video for our stream. And ParkaPal, tell me a little bit about your playlist that you prepared. Are we going to get a nice deep dive into your soundtrack of life here?
It's kind of eclectic. Not all my favorites are there, obviously. Some stuff I've already, put independently. Some stuff I'd kind of rather like
I see.
As a group, and I want like a variety rather than just all the same stuff over and over.
Sure,
right?
I understand that.
I put one of this band, I'm like, oh, but I can't decide which one of them, so I'll go put all of them, and then suddenly the whole playlist is just one guy. So,
Actually, that is kind of hard. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, all of you yourself, and all the rest of the Kados, you guys have such a deep listening exposure and stuff like that you do have many bands. So try to sit there and say, geez, I've got to choose 1 hour's worth of music, and trying to pull from these different artists and bands and stuff like that. It could be a little tricky, So
I tried to do mostly like deeper cuts. There's some stuff that's more known than others, for sure.
Well, I know that we got the gang in the house here, and we're going to get going in just a second. I'm going to just take one more scooch through here and just see, who do I have? Here's my mods. I have SB. SB's in the house. How are you, SB? And I think probably Turnip might be lurking. Maybe 1 a.m.'s lurking. If not, I know he's trying to get into trouble and trying to me to watch weird 10-second videos calling me out as an old man like he did on that last one. For God's sakes. So, alrighty then. What do you say we start? So everybody, this is ParkaPal's 140K Redeem. It looks like the very first track we're going to be doing comes from Barenaked Ladies, and the name of this track is Never Do Anything. So let's go. I'm already liking the stereo play.
Wiped out down the stairs. I'll bet you there's a song in there. I'm not sure I'm prepared to write it down.
That was a trip.
Should be me. I look much better on TV. Then the world would see that I can do anything. I can be that. As soon as see that, I will never do anything. Let's play tic-tac-toe. I'll play X, you can be the O. Thoughts of turning
I love their little tchotchke arrangement accents.
I could make a mint. Fill my pockets with more than lint. I'll give you a hint. It involves the internet. I can be that. As soon as see that, I will never do anything. I can be that. As soon as see that, I will never do anything. Don't write me off as an also-ran. Just mark me down as an angry man. Got a big chip, you want a fat lip. How about a mouthful of chiclets? Life passed
Catchy
me
lyrics.
by, but it's not my fault. I'll lick my wounds. Could you pass the salt? I could be that. As soon as see that, I will never do anything. I can be that. As soon as see that.
This is very
I will never
Barenaked
do
Ladies and these
anything.
nice little hooks. They're always super fun, funky, folksy.
If I were the king, kiss my eyes. When I'm old and gray, I look back on my life and say,
I like how they make you feel really comfortable with these just very mellow chord changes.
Still I'll never do anything. I can be that, but soon you see that I will never do anything. I can be that, but soon you see that I will never do anything.
Odd background vocals back there.
I can be that, but soon you see that I will never do anything.
It's kind of like cheering.
I can be that, but soon you see that I will never do anything.
That was a great track to... That's a great track to start the stream off. Really fun. You know, the Barenaked Ladies, I think, for what little that I've heard of them, have that what I call fun fair kind of vibe about their music and stuff like that. It's always got this thing going on where you're bopping and stuff. I like the comfort of the chord changes and stuff, but they did play around little tchotchke arrangements, adding a little something that snaps out of you here. The opening of the track was really cool. I liked the little play on the stereo with a little bit of muting stuff. It kind of pulls you right in. You know, what do you like about the track?
I mean, when I was a kid, I thought it was just a song about being lazy, and I liked that. But then, like, obviously later, I realized the lyrics were a bit deeper than that. I love that
interpretation.
Never do anything. I like that song.
I love that interpretation.
I like
Hey,
to never do anything.
Hey, I thought it was a song about doing nothing. Just went right up my flagpole on that. I was like, yay! And then you realize, no. But still, yeah.
It's just good vibes, and like, they're one of those bands, like, I never know how, like, much they bled over outside Canada besides, like, 1 week and $1 million. Like, obviously those are their big two, right? But, like, so many of their other singles were, like, everywhere all the time here, right? So
yeah. Well, it is that kind of track that's kind of a cheering on for that vibe, that cool little, like, just grind and just kind of sit into this thing and just go like this. But I think that's really unique, that point of view that you had about, no, when I was younger and I heard the song, I thought it was about being lazy, and I was like all about being lazy or doing nothing, which would have been my anthem. But funny, when you do get older, you listen to the songs and you go, oh, I see. I got you. So, all right. So next up, we're going to listen to, let me see here. What do we got here?
So do you want, like, info before the songs or after the songs?
Yeah, let's go a little bit before. So tell me a little bit about this track coming up, which is going to be Gonna Get Along Without You Now.
So this one is from She and Him, which is M. Ward is the him. So longtime musician, and the she is Zooey Deschanel. You may know as an actress. She's been in a lot of stuff. New Girl was like a really big TV show. She was in Elf. She was in 500 Days of Summer. They met when M. Ward was doing a credit song for one of her movies that she was supposed to sing in, and then they ended up forming this project together. They do like a mix of originals and covers of like old stuff. This one I think is a cover from the 50s.
Very clever.
The 60s.
Very clever.
Yeah.
The She and Him, title of the band or the group or the project and stuff like that. And to know that these are actors also. This we know people of their art form, but sometimes forget how deep that art form can go. So, all right, let's check this out. So She and Him, and the song is Gonna Get Along Without You Now. Let's go. Giving me Shelby Lynn vibes.
Gonna get along without you now. Gonna get along without you now. You told me I wouldn't need a thing. You even asked me to wear your ring. You ran around with every girl in town. You didn't even care if it got me down. Gonna get along without you now.
it sounds like they really made an attempt to keep it in that 50s vibe.
Get along without you now. Gonna find somebody that's twice as cute, cause I didn't like you anyhow. You told everybody that we were friends, but this is where our friendship ends. Cause all of a sudden you changed your tune. You haven't been around since way last June. Gonna get along without you now. Gonna get along without you now. So long, my honey. Goodbye, my dear.
Such a very light bass back there. It's almost indiscernible.
Gonna get along without you now.
The harmonies are so 50 as well in the 50s.
Gonna get along without you now. You told me I was the neatest thing. You even asked me to wear your ring. You ran around with every girl in town. You didn't even care if it got me down.
Poor thing.
Gonna get along without you now. Gonna get along without you now. So long, my honey. Goodbye, my dear.
What I loved about that track is the fact that, let's see, this was released 7 years ago, and as you said, this is
2010, I think.
yeah, and then you said, well, yeah, you're right. Okay, so it was uploaded 7 years ago, and but the fact that you said it's a cover from a 50s track, of which I'm not familiar, but whoever produced this or whatever they decided to do with this, they really tried to make it sound like a production from the 50s, like maybe used like an old ribbon mic for the guitar, maybe one mic for the kick snare, and like the kick wasn't mic'd. It's funny because I'm looking at the screenshot, and it kind of reminded me of like some kind of like very young Goldie Hawn looking bobby cut, skirt kind of vibe, with the long boots of the 50s and stuff. And then of course the safety of the lyrics. It's just like when I mean the safety of the lyrics as far as 1950s. Everything was a lot more cleaner.
Yeah.
And messages were pretty straightforward. There wasn't like trying to figure out any lyrics. It's like, just screw it. I just don't like you. And you see you playing around and you're breaking my heart and you have no idea what it's doing. So I'm just going to get along without you now. But I really did enjoy that. And it definitely had that 50s nostalgia vibe to it. That was a fun track. Okay. See what we got here. Now, why don't you tell me a little bit about our next one? This one is going to be Noah and the Whale, and the name of the track is Give It All Back. Tell us something about this.
Yes, this one's 2011. Just an indie sort of feel-good pop nostalgia sort of song. That's kind of like the peak era for that. But I like these guys more than like Mumford and Sons. but like that whole sort of like era of like the millennial things are okay maybe.
Right. Well, I can tell. I'm just looking
after some like earlier in the 2000s sort of gloom.
Sort of gloom. I like that. Sort of gloom. All right. Well, then let's check this out. How long ago did you say this was released?
2011.
2011. All right, everybody. So ParkaPal wants us to check out Give It All Back by Noah and the Whales. I mean, just the title of the band right there seems like it's going to stay in the same pocket as what we heard Soundwaves, but we'll soon find out. Here we go. I like this.
I grew my hair to my shoulders.
slipped in the arrangement.
Yeah, we caught ourselves a devil's playhouse. Influences like Bruce and the band. And we'd sing or play simple three-chord rock and roll. And miles away, the other kids would just grow. But we're making our own way out. Yeah, we're making our own way out.
Nice backgrounds. I like that. It kind of faked me out with the bridge. I mean, like a pre-chorus, but it ended up being the chorus. That was nice.
Well, we practiced every week in my bedroom while my parents were working in town. And one morning in
Like that
our
bass. It's got that
school
Rickenbacker
assembly,
vibe.
played a cover of Don't Let Me Down. The performance was nervous and awkward, but the
That is such a
passion
cool
was
arrangement.
real and profound.
Do that, do that.
And the kids in the audience laughing while the band just stared at the ground. But victory for the kids who believe in rock and roll. I know for me that performance lives and never grows old. But we're making our own way out. Yeah, we're making our own way out. Well, I'd give it all back just to do it again. Yeah, I'd turn back time, be with my friends. Yeah, I'd give it all back just to do it again. Turn back time, be
Wow, this is a
with my
very
friends.
hooky
Yeah,
track.
I'd give it all back just to do it again. Turn back time and be with my friends. Yeah, I'd give it all back just to do it again. Turn back time, be with my friends tonight.
God, I love that lyric. That is such a great lyric. It's a very nostalgic lyric. I think, you know, as you get older, you want just turn back time and be with my friends again. I think people start feeling that probably in their, you know, just old fart wisdom, some Obi-Wan Kajibski thing here. I think most people start to feel that in their late 30s going into their 40s. You know, I know that sounds like a general
tracks.
statement. Pardon me? Does it track? Is that about right? You know,
Mid-30, you know.
yeah, you know, and it's just that thing now where you just realize that, you know, God, it was only a few years back that, you know, this was the kind of joy I was having with my friends. I'd love to go back. But then again, this song also might have some other, you know, I don't know what the lyrics were written about necessarily. Maybe if somebody had passed away or something or whatever, and this was, you know, like an ode to wanting to go back to the old days or something, or if it's just a nostalgic callback. What I really, really enjoyed about this track, as far as arrangements, composition, and production, is you really don't hear too often tracks that really emphasize on the marimba or the mallet arrangement like this particular track did. And I think what that gives is just a little bit of that bouncy lift to it. You know, if that was just guitars holding those chord changes, it would have had a whole completely different vibe. So it was almost, how do I say this? Adult childlike.
I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? It's like wanting to remember that, using the instrumentation and the arrangements for that vibe, but they still colored it in with the dirt when they were doing very unique arrangements. And the other thing that I loved about the track is that they kind of sucked me into where I was thinking, okay, this must be a pre-chorus, but it ended up being the chorus. Because after the first chorus, when all the arrangements lift into the main hook, then we had, I think, probably about an 8-bar instrumental before we went back into the second verse. So I love the way they did that. And so far, the tracks you've played have been like under 3 minutes. And I think, you know, I think some of the best songs in the history of the world have been written under 3 minutes, you know, because they get in, they make you feel, they stick it to you. And I also love the fact that the vocalist didn't really, even when the hook came in, it was nice and powerful, didn't reach out into a higher part of the range. Like he himself didn't emphasize the hook by, you know, changing the melody too dramatically as much as it was the arrangements that came in behind it. Yeah, I was really digging the instrumental arrangements on this. Man, this is a pretty dope playlist, bro. Okay, next up, why don't you tell us about, let's see, our next track is going to be, oops, let me scooch this down a little bit here. Whoop-a-doop, sorry, I went a little beyond. There we go. So our next track coming up from ParkaPal's Redeem list here is by an artist, Jenny Lewis, and the name of the song is You Can't Outrun Them. So tell me a little bit about this.
Yes, this is Jenny's second solo album. She's was in Rilo Kiley, which I did a couple months ago. You might remember, you might not.
Right, I do.
I think it was a live one, yeah. She was a child actress and did the whole music thing. This is her first solo album after the band had broken up. And her solo stuff had always been sort of like a bit more like Americana country adjacent than like the more sort of pop rock of the main band.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I just really like her voice.
Yeah, well, hey, look, sometimes that's all it takes. It's just a beautiful voice, regardless of what, the lyrics are. Is there anything about the lyrics on this that's impactful, or is this just a great song with a melody that you like listening to?
I haven't delved too deep in the lyrics on this one, but it's got a vibe. For sure.
It's got a vibe. That's the best way to say it. Guys, ParkaPal says this has got a vibe. So this is Jenny Lewis singing.
Different vibe than the last one.
Okay, good. Well, I like that. Well, like you said, it took you a while to peel different artist tracks off to make it different. Okay, guys, this is Jenny Lewis singing You Can't Outrun 'Em. All right. And I love the fact that all your tracks have just organic guitar work and stuff, and it's straightforward. It's not trickery.
You got struck with some bad luck. There's a black cat by your side, and I'm afraid you chose the red door with the 666 neon sign. And what those witch doctors do to you, I wouldn't want it for myself.
Christy McVie vibes.
You've been through, haven't you learned anything? You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. They want your head. You can't outrun 'em. And I guess two souls will meet again when the universe thinks they should. Even if their own bloodlines don't run as deep as they could.
She has a nice little sizzle in her voice.
Mom will pull you through. I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. Now that I am living proof that history repeats.
Nice.
You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. They want you dead. You can't outrun.
It has this 80s Euro pop vibe that I really dig. You're right, super vibey. So vibey right here.
You better talk quickly, 'cause my sister's at the door.
I love the little triangle back in there.
Everything, who I am and what it's for. What the Lord has planned for you, I guess that it was meant. Wanted to get to know you before you were dead. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em.
I love the ambience they're creating with this in this arrangement right here.
You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't outrun 'em. You can't.
You're right. She does have a great voice, and I love it. It's one that it doesn't flail about, if you know what I'm saying. There's not a lot of showcasing in there. There's just a nice crispy tone of voice in there. She has a great little sizzle at the end of her notes. You know, it's not really upfront. It's not over salty, but a really nice little sizzle. And also the other thing is, it's what's great. Now it says this was released on YouTube 8 years ago. About how long ago was this released? Do you have an idea?
10, I think.
About 10 years
11.
back. Well, so far, everything that you've played have had such great songwriting in it with such little shadow boxing arrangement going on. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things happen, a lot of stuff. So we're getting right to the meat potatoes of just really great melodies, really great vibes. One thing I've noticed so far in the tracks you brought to us is real straightforward rhythm arrangements, drums or whatever percussions they use, shaker, checka, checka, checka. And all of the drum work that I've heard so far of everything has been very straightforward. You know, the word square doesn't mean square, like some people would think, oh man, that's square. No, just really straightforward, and just, you know, a lot of the arrangement, actual values would come from the strumming, you know, patterns and stuff. Another thing I liked about this track more than anything is the fact that there was some very unique ambience and ethereal vibes created. Once again, without going too overboard on production with long reverbs and stuff. So I loved how they did this. This was a really super great song, and I do love, like I said, you're right about her voice. Once again, this wasn't another track where, you know, the vocals are way up here in the hook and they come back down here and do all this dynamic stuff. It just kind of gets you and kind of reels you in. Yes,
So on
right.
that note,
Yes, go.
the next track.
Yes, okay, yeah. Okay, you explain the next track and then introduce it.
So the next track is from Sunset Rubdown, which is the, at the time, side project of Spencer Krug of Wolf Parade. Wolf Parade is a more, I mean, for among their contemporaries, maybe a bit more experimental, but still like in that indie rock vein.
Mm-hmm.
Sunset Rubdown was basically his project for stuff that was too out there to go in onto Wolf Parade stuff.
I like to hear the band, Sunset Rubdown. It sounds like it'd be the name of a bad massage parlor. I'm just sorry, I'm doing what I do. And the name of the track is Up on Your Leopard, Upon the End of Your Feral Days. Just the title in of itself says this is probably going to be any eclectic. Do you have any takeaway from the lyrics or anything?
If I had a half hour.
Very honest, very well said.
Spencer likes imagery.
If Spencer's big on the imagery, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Well, then let's do this. We are going to be checking out Let There Be Light. So we're going to be checking for ParkaPal's Redeem session here. This is Sunset Rubdown, and the name of the track is Up on Your Leopard, Upon the End of Your Feral Days. Okay, I have a funny feeling we're gonna rock it up a bit here. Let's go. All right. I like this. I love this. It's like got the Rocky Horror Picture vibes. That's really catchy. This, if Amon's in here, he's pulling out the Phrygian tip jar. Oh, you're right, Soundgarden. It does have some very split ends in there. Why is this having a little bit of a David Bowie effect on me?
One who lived off a forsaken land. I'm the one who sat at your capture and let the snow fall on this whispering rapture. And you're the one who's kissing your captor's hands. Well, shit, I know we're all growing old, but where there's a will, there is a way. So way to go. Say goodbye to your feral days. Say goodbye to your feral days. Say goodbye. Hey, hey, hey. 'Cause you're the one who's riding around on a
Wow, listen to that drum, how it's engineered.
ba-da-dum. You're the one who's throwing dead birds in the air.
Almost like they just used overhead mics for the
You're the one
for the drum kit.
wild, hide, will weather in the weathering days to wear leather made soft, so princes can lay down their princely white heads. Oh, hair.
I like that. Love this section. Bass player's playing a fretless bass.
Your Highness is holding your chains. 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 Your Highness is holding your chains.
What a trippy track that was. That definitely had kind of like the kind of Ziggy Stardust, kind of a psychedelic vibe for me, the way I was listening to it. The vocalist, whoever the vocalist was, there was that section. I'm just going to lean into David Bowie one last time that kind of reminded me about that. But the instrumentation of it, you know what the whole thing kind of reminded me about in my head as I'm listening to the music. I'm trying not to dive too deep. Outside of some of the technical things, like I just thought it was very unique how the drum kit sounded like it wasn't necessarily mic'd up per se, is that it felt like it was maybe an overhead, maybe a one mic in forward or something. It didn't feel like it was, an in-your-face kit, but they wanted to give you that fatness of it. But what I will say that it made me feel like is as if I was going around a merry-go-round. It definitely had that vibe. It was the choice of the instrumentation and stuff, like it was like a merry-go-round, a roundabout of like pseudo acid trippy kind of vibe. That's what I got about it. But I liked how it was kind of. I think the reason why I'm thinking of a merry-go-round is because it kind of it almost sounded like it had the same style of instrumentation in it. I don't know if that rings a bell for you, but it just kind of felt that like I'm going to take you on a ride and this is how it goes kind of vibe there. So that was a cool track. I like that. Had some nostalgia in me. Okay, so next up, let's see, what do we got here? Okay, so next up, ParkaPal on his Redeem session wants us to check out a band called The Golden Dogs, and the song is Never Meant Any Harm. Tell us about this one.
This one's 2006 pop rock group, I think, from Toronto. I found them on CBC Radio of all things back in the day. I don't think they ever really made it big. They did like 3 albums and then kind of fizzled, but I think they're neat. There's sort of a common theme here where I seem to like groups with multiple vocalists, especially when like there's one male, one female.
Mm.
They're another one of those bands too.
So, I mean, when you
Just sort
listen,
of like that dynamic. I don't know.
when you well, I love that kind of stuff. When you're, you know, it sounds like there's some pretty obscure listening here. Not that the music's obscure. It's almost like finding these very unique bands, you know, in areas that may not necessarily be, you know, in your face programmed on an algorithm, you know, showing up on your Spotify or something. Do you yourself, when you're listening to music, do you go and listen to eclectic channels and stuff, albeit radio or maybe NPR, you know, programming or something like that?
I mean, yeah, back in the day, for sure, was going full hipster. Nowadays, I've kind of like just settled into these were the bands I liked in my teens and early 20s, and I'm just following their new stuff. But
Oh, that's great.
sometimes I'll branch out, but
No, that's great. I mean, you know, the thing is that it sounds like I said earlier, it sounds like you're playing me a playlist of, you know, pulling from the, you know, your soundtrack of life, you know, back in maybe in a time of your life that you kind of, like that one song, kind of wish back there hanging out with your friends. But it just sounded to me, because I'm listening to this music and it's so cool, but it also sounds like the NPR Tiny Desk. You know, you find
college
these great
radio.
Yes, exactly. That's the best way to put it. Thank you, college radio. All right. So, everybody, another track here from ParkaPal's Redeem session blah, 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 is from the band The Golden Dogs, and the name of the track is Never Meant Any Harm. All right. I'm not laughing at you. It just so fits your playlist. Now I'm beginning to get a sense of it.
Went across the line, touched the other side, looked around just to see what would happen. Found another door, but I wanted more. Looked around just to see what would happen. Never meant any harm. I never meant any.
God, I so like the arrangements on this, the instrument choices and what they're doing.
Let the wine glass ride, only you and I. Kick it down just to feel that less empty. It's the truth that hides in the darkest night. It's all part of a side that we can't see. Never meant any harm.
I like that little lift of the guitar there.
Never meant any harm. Tonight for you now.
I love this, man. Great hook.
When your fortune turns, it's a lesson learned. Trying to carry the weight of the wicked. There's no going back when your chips are stacked.
They're using such
When a losing
little toy synth sounds in there. I love that.
never meant any harm. I never meant any harm. Never meant any harm. Never meant all these lines are cold on the open road. Every evil thought, every single word, every trace you hide piles up inside. Getting right to the top and explode. Never meant any harm. I never meant
I love that part. Yes, very Britpop-ish also as well in its sound, but I
I
think
think the group is also like very Wings inspired too. They did a Wings cover on one of their albums as well.
Oh, Paul McCartney. Yeah, I can. You know what? That's probably where I'm hearing a little bit of some of that in there. I thought it was great. This is just another one of those tracks where, you know, I sometimes I forget how fun it is just to write a fun song. You know, when it comes to the arrangements and stuff like that, you know, everything on your playlist has had a really super cool bounce, a great vibe to it. Very open-heady. You know what I'm saying? Very chill, very open-heady, very positive, very fun. You know, each one of the melodies so far, you know, that I've heard from your selection has been that really super lighthearted, you know, super cool kind of track. I don't know how to better explain the playlist you've been playing for. I don't know, guys. What do you think? How would you so far with ParkaPal's playlist? What would you guys? What is your vibe on this kind of music so far? I don't know. Wait to see who pokes in there. Okay. While somebody's typing, let me set up our next one really quick. Okay. Six Elmos. Quirky positive. That's another great way to put it. I like that. Quirky positive. You know, there's just something about that indie music and stuff, or that particular style. It's like you can play that all day long, and I don't have to worry. I don't know if any of you guys saw that video I put on my channel about happiness running its course with me. I just want to be peaceful. This is a soundtrack for that. This truly would be that soundtrack for me. It's like I just want to be peaceful. This is it. So. Okay, so next up, we have a track from Dropkick Murphys. It's called Gonna Be a Blackout Tonight. Tell us about this one.
So this one's changing it up a bit, more punk rock for sure. This is not one of the Dropkick Murphy songs with the bagpipes in it. I'm sorry, but
that's where I recognize the name from. I was thinking of okay.
But this one is actually apparently Woody Guthrie lyrics from back in the day. They, you know, considered him like the original punk sort of guy. And apparently Guthrie's grandson was a fan of the band and helped convince his mom to like allow them to like go into the archives and find something to record. And there's no music with it. They just got some lyrics and did what they thought went with it.
I like that. Leaving us in a guessing lurch here. Okay, so let's check this out. This is the no bagpipe version of Dropkick Murphys. The name of the track is Gonna Be a Blackout Tonight. Just the title in of itself can mean so many things. But here we go. I'm getting Who vibes, the band Who.
My town is big and my town is bright. My town can work and my town can fight.
I mean, it's definitely a lot more edgier in its sound, but it just, like I said, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Who in there, but I love the bass sound in this as well. This sounds great.
My town is big and my town is bright. My town can work and my town
I thought for a second he said my tongue is bit. I was like,
all over town. The air raid one walks up and down. 'Cause it's part of a war. I gotta do it right. There's gonna be a blackout tonight.
I love that line, the air raid warden.
Gotta be a blackout. Blackout tonight. Gotta be a blackout. Gotta be a blackout. Gotta do what my air raid man says it's right. Blackout tonight. Pull out the shades and turn out the lights.
So I think the best way to describe this is pretty much what SB put down there. She was chair mosh pitting. She said here in the chat. That probably was his rootsy punk sound, as I, in my shallow knowledge of punk that you guys have only been taking me on this journey. That one is as core as it's, as far as where does it register in my scale of listening to that kind of punk vibe. That bass sound was insane. I loved it. It wasn't overdriven. It was really super clean. I think one of the things about the track that I also loved is it kind of, in its tempo, it just kind of drifted a little bit, which to me is like they went in there, they went and knocked it out. Absolutely no click track whatsoever. But this was just straight for the throat, really punchy. I really dug that track. Guys, what did you think? If you had to say, was it Thin Lizzy's Jailbreak? Yeah, it has the same kind of vibe as that. Yeah, this was deep. For me, it was a really fun punk track. I dug it. Okay, let's see. What else are we going to go into now? All right, guys. ParkaPal is going to have us listen to a track by the band. I guess it's a band called Plushgun, and the name of the track is Let Me Kiss You Now, and I'll Fade Away. That can mean so many things. Tell us about that track.
Yeah, so we had one hard song, so now we're back to indie pop.
You made the new go this way, now we're going to go this way?
2009, I found these guys through Last FM, if anyone remembers that platform back in the day.
Last
Apparently it's still
FM,
going.
that's right.
Apparently it's still functioning, but, all our things stopped scrobbling to it, so...
Yeah, MySpace
Stop
is still up
using
too,
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did, this album and then maybe a second one, but, this album was, straight up every song I really liked, so...
Was fire?
It just came out of nowhere. And then and then disappeared again.
And where did you first hear these guys?
Like I said, just Last FM recommendation was like, hey, you listen to so-and-so, how about this one? And I'm like, sure, let's try it. I'm in the mood. And then,
so it was an algorithm recommendation?
Yeah.
Well, every now and then you got to hear it for the algorithm. Every now and then.
It was the algorithm based on people that were also music fans scrobbling to Last FM, right? Versus oh, the big company says this one will make us have more engagement.
Oh, okay. That.
Right?
Now you just said something scrobble. Is that what does that mean as an old fart? I have no idea. What is scrobble?
That was what they called it on Last FM. Because basically how it worked, from what I remember, was you hooked it up like a plug-in to your iTunes or your Winamp or whatever, and everything you listened to on your computer would they called it scrobbling to your profile, right? So you'd have your big list, and you had your own Spotify Wrapped back in the day before Spotify existed, right? You'd be like, oh, this is my most listened to this month. These are my trends, right? And you could look at everything.
Oh, okay. I get it. I've heard Snake mention the word scrobble, and as a matter of fact, I think even a little plugin that I might be using somewhere in the way he set up my OBS. But I recognize scrobble, but I had no idea it was affiliated with a definition of something, an actionable definition.
I mean, other people might have used the name too.
All right, guys. So ParkaPal wants us to listen. I can't talk. Listen to "Let Me Kiss You Now," and I'll Fade Away by Plushgun. Let's go.
too soon, but it's the final day.
I hear an ukulele.
Cause playing all these games just a time to waste. As soon as I met you, it all began to fade. So let me kiss you now and I'll fade away. You say you should be free, I know you said that once. Just tell me it'd be me if you ever break that thought. Cause I like you, yeah, I like you, so I wrote.
It's so
this
campy, I
song.
love it.
Now let me know, then I will move along.
Yeah, that's great.
Just find me a place where we can drift away instead of living life like it was yesterday. 'Cause dreams like these, they always seem to make me wait. So life can have had me for one more day. Maybe 'cause our moment just came and went, but I'll still write these songs because I like to vent. And maybe come
That's a great line.
we'll forget I sent all my thoughts of you in binary.
Trippy little trap work there. I love this little synthy pop section.
Cause all my memories are just a single
Funny how they replaced this clap, synth clap, from the live ones. That's good. That's great production.
Let it be today, and maybe I'll say, let me kiss you now and I'll fade away.
I love that Cyndi Lauper pad in the back. Lift it, build it, let's go.
Let me kiss you now and I'll fade away.
Great ending. Anything that opens up the ukulele like that, all of a sudden, you know me, I'm going to perk up. I'm going to lean into it. And, you know, the chord pattern there on the ukulele is just, it's pretty commonly used. I mean, whenever you hear the ukulele, that chord pattern is definitely going to make you go, hey, we're having some kind of fun somehow. We're going to be in a really good mood and stuff like that. And then, of course, they come in with that clap pattern. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've had publishers when they hired me to write that kind of fun, upbeat, motivating, let's have fun in the sun, you know, picnic in the park, you know, let's, you know, run around with the butterflies and chill. It has that, oh yeah, you know, the thing they do with the ukulele and the clapping kind of thing. So it has that really nice uplifting vibe. I take it, Plushguns, is this their style of music? Is this uplifting? Is this something that they really...
They were like labeled as like indie bubblegum rock.
I've heard of that term before. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? And there's such a big place for it. And as a matter of fact, it's probably the best kind of music that the world needs to be listening to right now. It's a break away from all the noise. Is something as fun as this. And it had really fun little arrangements in the back. You know, diddly 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 diddly. You know, it's almost like you said, it's a distraction piece based on just all feel good arrangements. But you can't help but do that on the ukulele. If you're going to start off a track with an ukulele like that, then you know it's going to have to match it tonally. So I think they did a great job. I loved it. All of a sudden, I just felt a little at home with that track just because I teach kids songs. As a matter of fact, funny enough, I'm going to save this track because I teach kids ukulele on Tuesdays and Thursdays at my friend's house. I'm going to have them learn this track because the chord changes are all right here in the front. You know, I think it was like an F and A minor, C and a G or something, which are all right there. So thank you. Double thank you for that. Not only was it a great track, but I'm gonna spread the aloha on the track and use it to teach the kids. So, okay. What do we got coming up next? So this next track coming up from ParkaPal's Redeem session here is an artist called Hawksley Workman, and the name of the track is You, Me, and the Weather. Tell us a little bit about this track.
This one's 2001, off his like, second or third album, I think. There was a period of time the guy was putting out like an album almost every year for a little while. Slowed down eventually, but he also did a lot of producing on a lot of Canadian bands too. Did a Tegan and Sarah record, he did a Great Big Sea record, he did a Hey Rosetta one, if anyone knows any of them. I think most of his albums, he plays pretty much everything except the horns, on at least the studio versions. Yeah, he's just very talented, and like every album felt like he was changing it up a decent amount.
And why is this song the one that you chose?
I just like how this one evolves.
Arrangement-wise, you mean like just how it builds?
Yeah.
Well, he sounds like he's a quintessential music dude. If he's producing other people's albums, that's where I find extraordinary too. Is when you have artists, you have bands, but then there's always that one artist, peripherally that not only is working on his or band or solo project, whatever they do, but they contribute to other artists and stuff. That's the consummate music person through and through. So let's see what it's the first time I'm hearing of this artist. Let's check this out. So everybody, this is You, Me, and the Weather by Hawksley Workman. All right.
You, me, and the weather.
Already feeling a little Pink vibes, Pink Floyd vibes here.
Me and the storm. You, me here together. You, me safe and warm. You, me, we got things together. You, me, we both been warned of.
Oh, that was nice. Wow, what a great hook if that's the hook. Reminds me a little bit of John Andrasik from Fight from Fighting. Oh man, I love that. That's like a fixture in the hook is that yodel. Now he'll go. No yodel there, but he went head voice.
Some are fighting hard, some are laying low. Pretty ones are hanging on a wing. Some are fighting hard, some are laying low. Pretty ones are hanging on a wing. Some are fighting hard, some are lying low. Pretty ones are hanging
I like this.
on a wing. Some are fighting hard, some are laying low. Pretty ones are hanging on a wing.
That was a really nice turnaround there.
You, me, and
Yeah, you're right about that build. Ooh. Playful answer back in the vocals here. Give us a fade. I love when artists will use that as an arrangement. You know, the background vocals of kind of fading out with that pattern that was set, the da 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 ba da 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 da. Love that. This guy has incredible vocals. I mean, his what he can do with it as far as pushing the feelings through without giving, you know, like an overload on power and stuff like that. His control over his, you know, I've never known how to define what a yodel is compared to just using that technique just to shift, you know, step up into the key that you want to hit. I don't know if that's the definition of a yodel, is that you can tittle. Oh shit, here we go. Continue.
The roll.
Yeah, exactly. You continue that. That makes it the yodel. But that actually what's really funny about that, just briefly, is that in Hawaiian music too, they use that technique. And actually in the ethnomusicology line of that technique that the native Hawaiians use actually came from when the vaqueros, which were the Mexican cowboys in the early 1800s, who was influenced by the Scandinavian people that came to Central America at some time. So that downline of the yodel, or that inflection, has some pretty unique roots. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, this artist, you know, could be loosely influenced by that. But what a great track. I really, really love the track. I love that. You were right, though. The build on that was also really great. And in the middle, or just 3/4 of the way into it, there was a nice little shift that happened. I can't say it was a key shift, you know, like they stepped up or something like that, but something happened really nice in that pattern there. But I thought this was great. Guys, what did you think? I noticed there was a lot of people really kind of leaning into his... So I'm looking up here in some of the comments here, into that yodel aspect of what it was. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I love that track. It's like everything so far, even that punk track. I mean, so far I'm in such a great mood listening to your playlist. That's outstanding. All right, let's see what else ParkaPal is going to give us. Whoops. ParkaPal wants us to listen to next. The band is Bright Eyes. The name of the song is Down in the Rabbit Hole, which I've been doing in my head for the last 3 weeks on so many subject matters. But you tell us what this is all about.
Yeah, so 2005, Saddle Creek Records was like one of the bigger indie labels. Kind of were known for like what was called the Omaha sound. It was kind of like the indie rock that was a bit more like country folk adjacent, Midwest sort of thing. Bright Eyes was like sort of like one of the bigger acts on that label, known for that. Partly probably because the main guy's brother was like one of the founders of the label, but you know, it's indie, so you know that's bound to happen, right?
Yeah.
But this album was a big experimentation. He released 2 albums the same day.
That's a risk.
It was kind of like a double album. One album was like the traditional sort of Bright Eyes sound, like very folksy, acoustic, pared down. And this is the more tape loops and experimental sort of album.
This particular one we're going to hear is from that second one. You're saying it's a little more experimental.
Yeah, this is the more electronic side of Bright Eyes. It's not as far as like Kid A, but he was also starting a lot closer to folk. So,
all right. Well, I'm looking forward to checking that. Whoops. I just ran my thing the wrong way. Stand by. Boop, 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 boop. Here it is. So, everybody, this is going to be from... Is it a band called Bright Eyes?
The
Or is that
band is called
project?
Bright Eyes, but it's mostly one guy named Connor.
Okay.
Opus.
Well, this is, according to ParkaPal, this is a little bit more of the experimental aspect of a double album release. And this one is called Down in the Rabbit Hole. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Bit crushy, we call it.
Covered yourself up in snow. Baby, tell me where'd you go for days and days? Did they make you stay up all night? Did they paint your face that pasty white? You're thirsty, but your appetite gets chased away. Sun turns us to stone. It's a cloudy day.
I like that string arrangement there. That was really nice.
Can't go up and out that cellar door till we see the moon. We're invisible.
And even the piano on the eighths was just...
Ever takes the garbage
Well, now it's not there.
out. A naked kid gets dared to touch the house. He runs back for me to announce there's no one home. As we paint the foil with the flame.
Nice little engineering juke.
Soda tastes butane for every fear that can't be named. To calm you down. Your heart starts skipping steps. So you're farther gone than you might expect. If your thoughts should turn to death,
There's that pattern reestablishing
stomp
again.
'em out like a cigarette.
That was dissonant right there. That caught me off guard. You know that drum pattern that it's all saturated and fried up has a slap delay on it that is so cool. And on the end of the eighth notes is that it's buried back there. Very seductive. It keeps you centered. Bruh, those strings, I'm loving that. So as you were saying, this one's experimental. Obviously, I don't know exactly what The rest of, like you said, the first album was a little bit more indicative of, their previous style. This one kind of stepped out of the box. So, but just going off of listening to the track for the first time, a couple things that were happening there that I really dug is they had this slapback reverb that was going on a couple of instruments, actually. Predominantly the drums, though, that causes that. It's a hypnotic little snapback that happens. And the fact that was, as overdriven or saturated or whatever they used discursively to cause the distortion as an obvious part of the track. One of the things that, for me, which was really cool, and I noticed some people were talking about the strings on that, is that the strings was like a cold compress on a burn. That's what it kind of felt like, because you had the track that had the distortion on the kit and stuff like that. And you also had this kind of psychedelic peyote style trippiness with the vocals and the whole thing. So it was how do I say this? It had that laid backiness, if there's such a word, there's none, of course, of like, I'm going to say this is going to sound so far out there, but if you know, kind of like how Snoop Dogg is laid back in his performance and it's always very kind of slightly behind and stuff like that. This had I'm not comparing Snoop Dogg to the artist there, to the singing, just to the laid back attitude that's just slightly a little bit behind there, and it just kind of kept you in this kind of molasses cool vibe thing. Really super dug that, but that uniqueness of the string arrangements coming in out of nowhere is just kind of, it popped the sweetness on the ear candy for me. That's how that felt.
Yeah, the contrast really, it's like the one organic thing besides the vocals.
Yeah, well, the vocalist had that nice, syrupy, laid back kind of performance, but yeah, that juxtaposition, I guess, as we call it. Let me see here. What do we got next now? Next up, ParkaPal wants us to listen to, I guess, is the name of the artist Neko Case, or the band?
Yes.
And it's called Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth. Tell us about this one.
So she is she's also known for being one of the co-leads in the band The New Pornographers, but she also has her solo stuff, which the group is more indie rock. Her stuff is, again, more kind of like Jenny, more country, folksy adjacent. This one is actually it's not too long, and it's a cover of a 70s song, but the original is like a glam rock sort of thing, and this is completely her own take on it.
So therefore, it's a real cover, meaning, yeah. I love when artists do that when they make it their own. It's so for me, because sometimes, I don't know if I'm familiar with the original track, but when artists do covers, I'd say 75% of the time, it's pretty identifiable up front. Whether they're using the same chords or they're using the same instrumentations. I always love it when I go, is this a cover? This is a cover. Oh my God, is when they've really made it themselves, made it their own in their production. So I guess that's what we're going to experience here. So guys, on ParkaPal's Redeem session here, we are going to be listening to Neko Case. The name of the track is Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth. Let's go.
When she's on her best behavior, don't be tempted by her favors. Never turn your back on Mother Earth. Down to hurl from May to be by hands, it looks so smooth to me. Never turn your back on Mother Earth. Grasp it strong.
Ooh, did you hear that harmonics on that one note? Anybody heard that on that cello? That was great.
Clouds that come down crashing, never turn your back on Mother Earth. 3 days, 2 nights away from the friends, amen to anything.
Ooh, that's
that
great.
brings quick
That reverb on those backgrounds, it's like an old spring reverb. Another great track, man. It definitely has, like you said, if this was a cover from a 70s track, it's really funny because you said it was, the original track came from kind of a glam rock. Do you remember what the original track, who the artist was?
I think they were like in like European band or something.
Yeah, because I'm listening to this, and if she really twisted this around to be like her own, and
I can check real quick.
yeah.
They're called Sparks.
So the Sparks was the original band that covered this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like she
Well,
really
they're
took
American.
Yeah, it sounds like she really took it and made it, herself. Do you know where Neko Case, is she also American, or is this something that was coming from?
She's from Seattle, I think, or like she basically lives in Seattle.
Yeah, I love this. Once again, though, this had a little bit of, I don't know why, but I was thinking of a little bit of Lucy Sky and the Diamonds in the production, just at certain points and stuff like that. She has, what I love about the choices too in the music that you've been bringing here is that it really is very melodic, and there isn't, through instrumentation and everything, there's like, I love the fact that there's no showboatiness in this. I don't know, maybe that's just where my head at, and your core, playlist style, focusing on the folksy, indie style type of music with very unique arrangements, but there's not a lot of showboaty. So all of these tracks that you've brought so far have been really fun to listen to and very melodic, and it's really put me in a whole different place in my head. Almost in the sense, because right now I've been just dinking around the ukulele and guitar with some real simpler kind of chord patterns and stuff like that. And after listening to this, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this complete Redeem session. It's really kind of popped my head into the fact that such wonderful music and not a lot of showboating. And unfortunately, my programming, because of all the years of what I've done, I've always leaned on, let me do something to showboat, or maybe just choose a really unique chord with like a flatted fifth or a diminished this or a like. I keep on forgetting just how great music can be when it's just written well. And so far, that's what you've brought. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. All right. Next up.
Over well.
Yeah, no, I love it. Okay, next up, I guarantee now.
I'm sorry.
Why? For what?
Well, the DMCA maybe.
I was about to say, you knew where I was going with this. I was like, brah, okay, you know what's going to happen here. Queens of a Stone Age, I don't care. We're here listening to this together. And if I have to, and when I put this up on YouTube, if it's missing, it's because these guys, for some reason, seem to do a complete block, even if it's not a video. These guys just love to do a complete block. But guys, this is Queens of the Stone Age. That's like a massive ensemble band, if you would. The name of the track is Gonna Leave You. Why is this on your playlist?
This album in general just sort of feels like, I think it's early 2000s, like 2002 or 3 or something. It just feels like, hockey and gym with the lads. It's just
exactly.
Like that sort of like.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, that's the kind of vibe. I've listened to a couple tracks off of this. Not this one, though. I've listened to a couple tracks off of that, but it's like, like you said.
I figured I'd do one of like the deeper cuts, I think.
All right, deeper cut.
This one, I like it stays in the riff.
I like, good. Okay, you're giving us a little hint. Very riffage. Okay, we're going to move into a little riffage, folks. This is off of ParkaPal's playlist. The song is called DMCA. No, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. It's called Gonna Leave You, and this is by Queens of the Stone Age. Let's go. I love the dryness of the sound and the mix. Makes it a little intimate.
It's raining in my room. There's blood in my spoon. You're out of my high chair. I'm out of your womb. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you.
The drums, so Dave Grohl, you know.
I'm gonna leave you.
Got that real nosy guitar down the middle. I wonder who the vocalist was on this one.
I think this one's the bassist.
Yeah.
You know this is wrong. Everything starts the skin. Push it in, break it off. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you.
Something real cool part of the arrangement. I don't know if that's background vocals. That's great. Now it doesn't surprise me. Whoops! It doesn't. It doesn't surprise me that when I listen to this, automatically I think of Grohl, and then I think of what was it called, Sound Studio or something. You know, the whole story of Sound Studio in Los Angeles and Van Nuys about the analog and the console, and he's got just a specific way that he wants to hear his stuff, and it does kind of, you know, you can hear a little bit of Nirvana-ishy kind of, you know, the root, that kind of rooting of it and all. And then I just looked up really quick who was all in this band. I go, man, it's such a hit squad of members that have transitioned through it all, you know. So but for me, the nosiness of the guitars, the crispiness of it, there's zero delay, dry, crisp as can be. But the one thing about the drum sounds, it had a really round early reflection. So there wasn't a reverb on it per se, but there was this early reflection on it that gives it that snare had a very tight stereo image on it. Now that's the geekiness of the track, but the track definitely had that more. Would you have considered this more of like an indie rock? Where would this particular song fall in the genre?
I don't think they're indie.
Huh?
Maybe I think just alternative. But
Alternative. I'm sorry, I said indie.
Yeah.
Alternative, yeah, but very pulled down. Very I don't know. It just had a really great vibe to it, but for me, my head
like
was
I said,
wrapped.
this one just like feels like being in the groove, just in the gym
And in your face,
hockey or whatever. Yeah.
and intimate. It's in your face and stuff. Sorry, I jumped ahead here to this track here.
Yep.
Whoops. So now tell us a little bit about this one. Obviously, I got it queued up already. This is Joel Plaskett, and the name of the song is Run, Run, Run. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Joel Plaskett is from Nova Scotia. He's had a long career doing many albums. That album's actually on my wall right there. I moved the camera, but it's probably too dark.
Close to your heart. If it's up on the wall, man, that means it's made
it's
an
one of the
impression.
featured ones right now. I think I've submitted one before. I definitely did one that he did with his dad before.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. Throughout time, he's got more or less people on the band. Sometimes he does like solo tours too. This album he did he released for his 33rd birthday. It's a triple album. The album's called 3. Each disc or LP or whatever has 9 songs on it.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, I think it's like they're sort of themed about like the first one's like going away, the second one's like being away, and the third one's like coming home. It's from 2009. This is the last song on the first record of the 3.
3 albums. My God. That, you know, the kind of work that it takes to put out one when artists put out 3 like this, that means that they got a lot of stuff cooking here. Well, good for us, though, for the listeners, that they have a lot of stuff cooking. All right, guys. This is Joel Plaskett. The name of the track is Run, Run, Run. Let's go.
This one's really cool.
I do believe you're free to go just where you please. But when you leave this place, best pick up your pace and run. Run, 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 you must. 'Cause if you walk, you rest. You get crushed from a diamond into dirt road dust. I do believe it's true. Good things break into
God, this is such a great track.
when you leave this place. Best tie up your lace and run. Run, 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 you must. 'Cause if you walk, you rest. You get crushed from a diamond into dirt road dust. I do believe it's true. Good things come to those who run.
I like that line.
Run, 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 you must. 'Cause if you walk, you rest. You get crushed from a diamond into dirt road dust. Crushed from a diamond into dirt road dust. Crushed from a diamond into dirt road dust.
What are those last words? Crushed from a diamond to what?
Dirt road dust, I think.
Dirt road dust. Ah. Love this.
Beautiful creature, you're a feature presentation. Show me a little patience. Won't you meet me at the station when my train comes in? When my train comes in. 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 Are you a beautiful creature? You're a feature.
I love that slide guitar work, man.
Show me a little patience. Won't you meet me at the station when my train comes in? When my train comes in. When my train
Great.
comes in.
Dun, dun, dun. Love that.
When my train comes in.
That's a fade. This could have gone on in another 5 minutes. Easy peasy for me. I loved this song, man. I love the shift in the production where we went into this acoustic, part of the track. This is the last half of the track. Kind of reminded me of a little bit of the shift in the Paul McCartney and Wings. What was the name of that one track? Whenever I fun, da 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 da. Anyhow, I don't know if that's ringing anybody's bell, but that shift in the Paul McCartney song, that shift in this song, had a really nice kind of like birthing vibe, like a release and everything, which I really, really super dug. Once again, this is another track that has some really great, very mellow, basic tracks and really focuses on some really great melody. The simplicity of the music writing is more powerful to me. Maybe it's where, like I said earlier, maybe it's where my head's at lately. But, this whole, I'm going to have to make a playlist just going to be the ParkaPal. Matter of fact, hey, guys, I'm going to share with you this playlist. Is that okay if I share this playlist with it? Yeah. I'm going to, when we're done with this, guys, I'm going to share this playlist link that he assembled off of YouTube. And because I think for me, this is going on mental for me. And what I mean by that is repeat. I could have used a better expression. But man, this track was great. And I don't know what the subcontext of any of the messaging was in there, what that meant and where it was in the album. You said this was just one song out of 3 albums, so. Yeah,
this is the closing track on the first record.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what the first parts, first tracks were like. Dang, that was I was lost. I was so into this track, I swear to God, I forgot I was doing a stream for a second. I was like, I'm just in it. This is why you don't need drugs to get high.
If you want ambition, at 44, he put out an album that is 4 records of 11 songs each.
4 albums of 11 songs each. When he hits 50, is it going to be 5 albums with, Jesus. But here's the thing, though, ParkaPal.
50's next year, maybe. We'll see.
It's happening fast, isn't it? Here's the thing, though. What's as astounding as it is that, he's put out as many tracks. One of the empowering things for me to hear when you say that is that it's this style of music that he's writing, and also some of the other artists that you've played so far, that I realize what the yield is like when you're writing tracks that are in of itself, the magic and its simplicity of the production and the writing of the tracks that yield these really big melodies, that really there's just this basis. It probably sounds like I'm rambling because I kind of feel like I'm in a ramble sauce right now, and that's what I do anyhow, right? That when you realize, my God, the simplicity of these tracks, I can understand how this is allowing them to write so many songs, because they're not worrying about how tricked out they need to be with showboating in their compositions and stuff. They're just writing good, solid tracks. Wow, that's just that's what it's bringing to me. So that was a great track. Okay, this one is, whoops, I hit the wrong part of my scroll bar. Stand by. Okay. Okay, next up, we're going to be doing, I just realized my browser headers there. I'm hoping that there's not any porn bookmarks up there. No, I'm kidding. If anybody's zoomed into my bookmarks going, what's Jeep study? Oh, okay, traditional history, Hawaiian Renaissance. Okay, Hawaiian history. Forget about these things sometimes. You expose yourself that way. All right, next up, this is a band, I believe, called Cage the Elephant. The name of the song is Around My Head. Tell us about this. Is Cage the Elephant the name of a band? And tell us about the track.
They're another indie band. This one's from 2011. They definitely have some more known songs, but I like this one, and it reminds me a lot of another band, and I'm curious if it gets picked up on as the same one.
Okay, well, let's check it out. Let's leave it up to the Kados. Let's go. This is the band Cage the Elephant. The name of the track is Around My Head. All right.
these feelings, yeah, I just can't seem to get away from. Can you dig it? You will never see it. No, you won't find it falling off my tongue. I took it down till I finally lose it. You know, I took the long way round, 'cause all I really am is a homemade elevator. Blinded by your sunshine.
That bass sound is great, but there seems to be like a little trem on that.
Bust down on the table.
God, I love this hook. It reminds me of another band, though. Maybe not so much a band as much as a genre. Yeah, it does have the Weezer vibes in it as well. I think there's more coming. Here we go.
Think it's very nice to walk around my head all night. You got me tangled like a bread tied twisted. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's very polite to walk around my head all night. You got me tangled like a bread tied twisted. I don't think it's
Another great track. I mean, this is the ParkaPal Indie Rock Hour.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, this is everything so far has just been that like that cut loose vibe. I don't know. I'm almost. It's like each track is just like leveling up and just marinating me in this particular style that you've chosen on this. But I'm watching what the chats are saying. You know about listening to this particular playlist, which I'm sure is probably just just a certain part of your soundtrack of life. You probably have other genres and stuff like that you really enjoy, but the fact that you really focused in on the indie rock vibe, this is probably one of the coolest playlists I've listened to in a very long time, man. And
So,
it just go ahead.
That track, what I was thinking is that one always feels very Pixies to me.
Pixies, and also as somebody else also was mentioning, oh my gosh, what was the other band that somebody had mentioned earlier that I kind of gelled with for a second? I think it was Crossface. See if I can scroll up there. Yeah, SB loves the Pixies. Weezer, yes, that was it. Weezer as well, a little Weezer-esque as well. So, all right, let's see what we got going on here now. Next up is... See, my scrolling bar is messing up on me a little bit here. Woo, 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 wee, wee. I'll go this way. Then I'll scroll down this way. Forget it. The next one up here is, okay, I don't know what this is going to be as far as the band because of the profile it's on. The name of the song is And I've Seen a Bloody Shadow. But who's the band?
The band is Of Montreal. This is from 2008. It's a shorter one, but a lot of the tracks on this album are like 7 minutes, so I found one that could fit in. It's so they're in sort of like a group of bands, sort of lumped under, called the Elephant Six Collective, which were largely based in Georgia. Sort of leaned into like that sort of psychedelic rock, but in the late 90s, early 2000s. Some of the others were like Neutral Milk Hotel, Apples in Stereo, Olivia Tremor Control. Those are the ones. They're all under the same sort of group. This is a bit later, after some of the others have disbanded. This one's actually from a concept album where the main guy, Kevin Barnes, has adopted this persona of this character called Georgie Fruit. It's
Georgie Fruit?
Yeah. It's sort of like a Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane sort of thing. Right? Like the whole album is like him, concept album of him as this character. It's a little out there, but it's fun.
And the name of the band again is Of Montreal?
Yes.
Okay, so now I looked closer to the profile name and oh, I see it, Of Montreal. All right, everybody. So continuing on ParkaPal's journey here with his playlist, this is the band Of Montreal, and the name of the track is "And I've Seen a Bloody Shadow." Let's go.
Turning tricks on the hood of Jasmine's car. That whole summer was really just too peculiar. You know I would have given it up to almost anybody who had a little bit of money and was sweet to me.
Wow, great production. Jeez.
I was down to give it up to almost anyone who was sweet to me. It was rough, we had to crawl down to the basement for to hide from this digital
Ooh, that bass player.
dwarf. He had no eyes, but he could see using electrical wind. Biting the brick that feeds me in my sister's bathroom. How can I function, man, in the face of all this butchery? My mind is exploding with sloppy murders. They've really poisoned my sexuality. How can I function this?
A little bit of a Queen influence in there as well.
To be whole.
More on the vocals, but
Live and the heart is not dead. It's just bad weather in my temporary head. In my temporary head. My heart's not dead. It's just really bad weather in my temporary head.
little Yellow Submarine-ish production-ish as well. This is Trip. Wait, what the hell? Is that how it ended?
Yeah, it
Oh.
flows into the next track on the album.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was like, oh, what'd I do? What'd I touch? Super dug that track. I mean, it did have, even by looking at the thumbnail, though, I kind of knew what I was going to be in for. But it did have, like you said, you nailed it to the wall, that David Bowie, that Ziggy Stardusty kind of vibe. In just only in the vocals, though, that when I had mentioned has a little bit of a Queen influence, I just thought I kind of resonated with it. All over the place with that, the production value, you know, the stop-startiness of it and stuff. But once again, you know, it's a perfect fit to this whole genre that you've been feeding us with this kind of unique, you know, indie blend. You know, I don't know. I'm at a place right now where my whole experience with this session is I'm just now enjoying it to a place where I've heard so much great music in this last hour that my head is just marinating in it right now. So, but this one is the most, I will say, out of everything that you've played, this one is the most contemporary sounding in its production.
Yeah, for sure.
you know, a little bit more forward thinking in the production, in the engineering, you know, the uniqueness, the deliverables that the engineer is giving us for a heady experience, without a doubt. But let's see, what do we got coming up next? Oh, here we go, guys. Radiohead. And I've been getting actually on the Decomposer Lounge a lot of requests for that. So hang on for a second. Let me scooch up to this here, and I want to make sure. All right, so give me a second here. There we go. I'm just going to click on it, but it won't. If it starts, I'm just going to stop it for a second. I just wanted to cue it. Okay, so this track coming up next on ParkaPal's playlist Redeem. This is obviously a band nobody needs any introduction to. Massively famous for their unique approaches in composition and stuff. But it, for some reason, probably fits perfectly in this playlist you built. So this is Radiohead's Desert Island Disc. Tell us a little bit about this track. Why is it on this playlist?
Just off their final album, unless they somehow turn around and actually release a new one. Like it looking more likely in the past month than it has been in years. But they're probably my most listened to band overall, like just in raw numbers. But you know, didn't want to put any of the obvious singles that are always posted. So like this one is like a sort of a nice meditative come down on the album between a couple darker tracks.
Okay, well then this one is called Desert Island Disc, and I don't believe I've listened to it. I've listened to quite a bit of Radiohead, but this is a first for me. So this is Radiohead Desert Island Disc on ParkaPal's Redeem session here. Let's go. Love the pattern the guitar's playing. Great right there. It just kind of opens you up.
You know
different types of love, different types of love, different types of love are possible, are possible, are possible, are possible.
You were spot on by saying how meditative this track was. And actually, I really didn't feel like I was hearing the Thomas York that I'm, lightly familiar with, listening to as much music as I have of his on the journey, on the, all these reactions and stuff. I felt like I heard him, like I recognized him more like 3/4 through the track. I almost felt like this is a part of him that I've never heard before, in this very subdued, meditative tone in his voice as he came in. And that in of itself, to me, is the vibe. Was just so, it was so, the subduing, is there such a word as subduing? That trance kind of tone in his voice. The guitar work, the opening guitar work was wonderful. But then once the guitar player sunk into that pattern, I thought there was some great moving around on when Thomas was coming in on his melody that kind of felt like you were pushing a little bit of a meter, a little bit of syncopation, slight little things. Well, that's what Radiohead likes to do. It likes to drift. Of course, very well known for the microtonal thing. The other thing that I really loved about this was the light dancing of ambient arrangements that was just going on back here. Nothing that was, intrusive or anything, but they just kept this nice,
soundscape, sort of.
Yeah, really great soundscape, but still being very musical, with it. Instead of, a lot of, recent productions might lean on that soundscape or that ethereal ambient sound by leaning on one note or a very rich pad on a synth or a digital module that'll give you some great stereo imaging, but you just lay on that one note and it just all does all the work. They were doing all the work musically to create that. And then the last thing I want to say is that this did lean into, when you say meditative, it did kind of pedal a note all the way through, which would have been da, da. I think that was the note that was through the whole thing. So that also pulls you into kind of a Zen space, But I think without a doubt,
For sure.
the guitar part was phenomenal, but this was a whole different Thomas York for me to experience. So I love this track, man. This track was ace, without a doubt. Okay, I think this is our last track coming up, is it not?
Yeah, I believe so.
All righty, so let me scroll down to it. Let me catch it. I don't know. I got to do it this way. I know it looks funky doodle here. So this last track here, the name of the band is Okkervil River, I believe, and the name of the track is "You Can't Hold the Hand of a Rock and Roll Man." Sounds like it's going to be a big finish for the playlist. Tell us about it.
Yes, this one's 2007. The album before this one is actually one of my favorite albums, but I could not pick a favorite child from that, so I went with one from this album. Maybe if I get another 140K, I'll just play that whole album straight.
Or you could just put it in with Spin the Wheel of Cheeses, you've been lucky.
Yeah,
lately.
one at a time. But yeah, a lot of your stuff's a little darker sonically. This is like the happy album, even though it's not necessarily lyrically happy all the time. But it's a lot of, like, the album as a whole is a lot about, like, media and, like, engaging with culture at, like, sort of like the surface level and, like, the act of performership and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, this is the closing track of ParkaPal's Redeem session here. Before I do play this, because after this, I'm going to dip out, and I know
After this, I got a thing to say at the end.
Yes, no, without a doubt. We're going to definitely close it up by saying aloha with everybody. But I just want to let the gang know on the stream after this. We're going to have some closing remarks and hang out, and then we're going to dip out. But I want to thank everybody for showing up on this stream. This is our avocados, our avocados. Even though this is a little late for some people, I can't thank you guys, the mods, and all hanging out. No, yeah, 1 a.m. and those guys, they're asleep. They're not even here anymore. They're a goner. All right, guys, this is the last track of the Redemption, and then we'll have closing remarks afterwards. This is Okkervil River, and the name of the track is You Can't Hold the Hand of a Rock and Roll Man. Here we go. I love this mix. This is like a club mix.
You sit in the van and wait. Gas and trash and smashed young cats roasting away. So on a sunny summer day, or okay, an August night anyway. And you're living on air. Well, on the 25th floor up there, they fan a million bucks before your face. Marie's passed out in a chair with her once fussed over hair, almost into an I've just been fucked shape. Just an hour before she crashed, all cashed. She said, I'm done with looking back, and you look your age, which is 37 by the way, and not 28. And fucking let them stare, because at this point I don't care. I have been your bride stripped bare since 98, and our silver screen affair, it weighs less to me than air. It's a guess now, it's a laugh, just how far several milk can take it.
I love that.
This week's fast is last week's flash of interstate. When you
Oh, I just caught on to that. Those are cellos doing that, or a cello overdub. That was great. This has some really great jam band elements in it as well. A little tinge of Beatles. What a great way to end your playlist. What a great sound. It's almost I like how you planned it too. You know, this track in of itself really gave you that, like, you know, fond farewell. You know, the whole vibe of your playlist was fantastic. This was a great track, and I loved everything that you kept us kind of dialed into with this. You know, like I said earlier, I already went on long earlier about, you know, this kind of songwriting, this kind of being able to sit down and just really rinse in on the melodies and stuff, and being able to listen to music that you could just let sink in without over evaluating or over listening to and stuff. I mean, for myself, there was just something magical about this, you know, Redemption, this particular playlist you put together. And it's just, it's almost, the simplicity is almost overwhelming. There's a part of me that just goes, oh my God, I think I missed the boat. Because in my head, I was always, you know, that all this great, and remember, simplicity is not easy. That's the thing that I've learned. It's not simple, like, oh, the tracks are so simple. And no, there's a magic to it. And this last track had a lot of really fun elements. It had, but I did, yeah, kind of lean into a little Beatles kind of vibe to it. I think the happiness to it. And there's, yeah, there's so many, you know, and so is everything in your playlist.
Some of the other parts of the album have like some Beach Boys bits too, I think.
Yeah, you can tell where they're leaning in and pulling from, you know, standing on the shoulders of giants, you know, in that capacity. But I know that you wanted to say a quick aloha before we ditch out on our stream and stuff.
So the Magnum Opus of this playlist, there's a secret one more track if you look at the first word of every song.
Uh-oh. Of every song on this playlist?
Yeah. Start from the start.
Wait a second. Let me. I'm going to roll up my guys. There's inside the cereal box. There is a special secret. Hang on. So, see now we're going into the deep. Okay, here we go. So, never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Oh my God, how did you pull that? Dude, oh my God, that is mental. And I don't mean mental like you're crazy. That is insane. That is so badass. Guys, is that the secret behind the quiet, calm ParkaPal? There is some deep thinking stuff there. That is, look, do you see everybody on the chat? That is so badass. Where did you see, now you were in a whole different fucking world here. Like, how did you start this playlist knowing that's what you wanted to achieve?
Yes.
That is probably the most unreal thing I've ever fucking seen. Like, how long did it take?
That's why I had to put Queens of the Stone Age in.
Oh,
there aren't many Gunna songs.
Oh my gosh. That is so insane. Guys, this is a great example of why we have the Katos that we do, because there's some deep thinking shit going on in here. So what's amazing is that, so you went ahead and decided this is how you were going to piece this together, but yet you still found some insanely cool tracks.
Oh, for sure. And, yeah, everything is something I would have considered regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the things that's mind-numbing about this is that it truly represented you in your playlist, you know? So, bruh, that is some deep thinking. What are the mushrooms that you're eating at nighttime? I'm telling you, that is so freaking cool. Guys, hang on. I got to give 5-second clap here because that was badass. I would have never expected that. I got to go through that one more time. Like, I'm amazed. Here we go. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. This is officially called Rick. What was his name? Rick Ashton? Aston. This is the Rick Ashton playlist. Oh my God, that is so badass. First of all, I'm going to share this playlist on the, what is that? Save play? No, how do I share the playlist?
I think I can.
Let me see. Save the playlist or share it in the chat. I don't know if it'll allow it. If not, put it in the Discord. You're part of the main team, right? On the all of us on Discord.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the Discord.
Yeah, put it on Discord, and then I'll pop it out and reshare it. That was hilarious. Rick Astley. Okay. Ashton Kutcher, Rick. Of course, Soundgarden's going to come in and cap on my ass. Well, anyhow, while we're gonna say goodbye to the stream, and then we'll chat for a couple minutes before we end our call. But everybody on the stream, thank you so much for hanging out. This was a great playlist. Everybody say goodbye to ParkaPal. Parka, you can say goodbye to everybody. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to end the stream. There's a possibility I'm in for Friday. I'm not sure. What I'd like to do is see if I can't redeem Turnips release there. And outside of that, oh, what does he got? Who's back in there? A cat? Is there an animal coming through? Ah, of course. Come on, we got to see Animule. Who do you have there? Who's our guest speaker there? Who's our guest there, ParkaPal? Let's see. Wow. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. That's leaving a little fur around the house, right? Oh, he's get me out. All right, everybody, listen, I'm going to end the stream. What was the name of the cat again?
Maya.
Maya. You know what? It's a pleasure to get to know you here. You know, I get to meet people online and stuff. Very rarely do I put a face to it. You know, and you know, so it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for actually coming on the stream, also by video as well. So it was very nice to meet you, guys on the stream. I'm ending the stream right now. What is the chances, ParkaPal, that I hit the right button? What are you thinking?